Okay, so he gave it to the disciples just as he has received from Father, from God himself. So as Christians also, just as we received the direction from Jesus, we're expected to give to the disciples. Then last, okay, believers today follow Jesus' lead, understanding that discipleship is crucial for preparing leaders for his mission. So we are expected to follow the lead of Jesus. We should know that discipleship is crucial because, as I've said before, it's for a Christian, for this generation to grow, and even the generations before behind us, it must be through the work of a leader that disciples the future leaders. Jesus mentored his disciples for leadership despite their flaws. He guided them with grace and gave them practical experience. Never downplay the importance of discipleship in preparing leaders for Christ's mission. So we could see how Jesus has discipled the disciples despite their flaws. He did not give up on them, but rather he was working on them, and that was because what even gave him the assurance was because he chose them prayerfully, and he knows that these people, they are ordained by God, so I must not give up on them. I must try my best on them, and that's the same pattern that we Christians nowadays are expected to follow. Then we move to the next lesson outline. Apostle Paul helps Timothy embrace his place. And it is, can someone please read 1 Timothy 1 verse 3? And then let another person open to Acts 16, 1 to 3. Thank you, ma. So yeah, we could see Apostle Paul writing to Timothy, one of his mentee that he has mentored all his life, telling him how to use what he has learned to edify the church, so that false doctrine is not going to have a place in the church. If we check the first 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 2, it says, "And the things that you have heard from me among many witnesses, commit this to faithful men who will be able to teach others also." Thank you. So all these things that we have learned, so it's telling us that the same way Paul has learned from Christ, Paul was now telling Timothy that these things that you have learned from me, you should also teach others. So that's telling us that discipleship is a continuous thing. It's like a chain reaction. So once you get it, you are meant to pass it to others. You shouldn't just limit those knowledge, those teachings that you've got into yourself. You are meant to raise others, just like Paul has raised Timothy in the doctrine of the church. He was also expected, Timothy was also expected to teach even others the same way Paul has taught him. The first paragraph says, Paul saw Timothy as a promising brother and guided him, treating him like a son and encouraging him to stand firm in the grace of Christ. Has anyone seen Acts 16, 1 to 3? Acts 16, verses 1 to 3. Acts chapter 16, 1 to 3. Thank you, ma. So there we could see how Paul not only mentored Timothy. Timothy has been receiving mentorship from the mom and the grandma. So he has been, although he was born to a Greek father, but because of the background he has the grace to have believers as his mom and grandma. And then Apostle Paul now built on that. He not only teach him the ways of the Lord, but he made sure that he's well fitted, because that those time they believe that you must be circumcised. He even went as far as giving him circumcision, just to make sure that he was able to do the ministry without any backbiting or reproach from anybody. Then we could see how Paul saw a potential in him. He saw him as a promising brother and guided him, treating him like a son and encouraging him to stand firm in the grace of God. And this is teaching us that any leader is expected to disciple the disciples in a way that they are going to feel at home, that they are going to feel as if that person is a father. You shouldn't be bossing them around. You shouldn't be imposing on them. You should treat them the way a father is going to direct, is going to teach and guide the child, just like Paul did. We could see that he was able to treat him like a son, and he was able to encourage him. Then Paul urged Timothy to embrace his God-given gifts and overcome fear. This shows the power of mentorship in empowering others. So just like Paul encouraged Timothy to use his God-given gifts, then leaders also, they should be able to help those that they are mentoring, those under their mentorship. They should help them to grow, to use their spiritual gifts. And that's how in so many churches we see them giving roles to workers, and not, it's not only the pastor that we always be on the pulpit saying different things. Others will also be given chance. This is a way of encouraging them to utilize their gifts. So a leader must bring out that gift that is in the disciple. A leader must help the disciple to be able to bring it alive, to utilize it to the glory of God and the edification of the church. And then Paul inspired Timothy not to be ashamed, but to endure pain for the gospel. True mentors support men. So when Timothy was going through tough time, Apostle Paul was always there to ginger him, to give him support. He was always there to encourage him. He has never for once left him. So anytime Timothy is facing a challenge, Apostle Paul is always there to help put the words of encouragement. Therefore, instructed to him that same mentorship to others. It shouldn't just end on him. It should continue. There should be a flow of discipleship. Paul advised Timothy to stay strong amidst challenges and fulfill his ministry. Mentors guide their mentees aright. Paul supported Timothy in enduring hardship and fulfilling his ministry. If you check
Let's begin to round up. We can begin to round up now.